Legal warriors, I've covered mistakes that you want to avoid in court. Now I want to cover mistakes you need to avoid prior to going to court as a criminal defendant. Those are just as important because if you make the mistake prior to court, you're going to make it in court too. So if you're interested in this area of the law, stay tuned. This is the video for you. My name is Attorney Lance Fryrear. I'm a defense attorney in Lynnwood, Washington. My law firm's been defending people charged with crimes all throughout Washington State for more than 25 years. By putting out these videos to help educate the public. So if you find this useful, please like and please subscribe. More people get to see it. More people get the help they need. Now I'm just going to jump right into it. This list may seem simple, but although it may seem simple, it's also very important. And remember, I've done this for more than 30 years, so every single thing I talk about here, I've seen. So what is the number one mistake to avoid prior to going to court? It's making sure which court you're going to is known by you and where you need to go and how long it's going to take to get there. Let me tell you, time and time again, even if we remind clients what court they need to go to, where they need to go, one of two things happens. One, they go to the wrong court because a lot of courts sound the same. There's Lynnwood Municipal Court. There's Lynnwood District Court. There's Snohomish County Superior Court in Everett. There's Everett Municipal Court across the street. That just happened to a client of ours, even though we told that client exactly where to go. Within the last 8 months, I'm sitting around in court waiting forever, and there's no client. Finally, I got the client on the phone. They described the courthouse. I said, "You're across the street." I looked at the messaging that we had sent to the person. We gave them the address, we gave them the court, but still somehow it didn't register. So make sure that you know where you need to go. And then also make sure you know how long is it going to take to get there. How do we do that? Well, we got Google, right? We can see how long it's going to take when we wake up. Or what I do, because sometimes I go to a court I'm not used to going to, I might look at it the same time of the weekday before. If it's a weekday court, I've got a Tuesday court at 8:30, let's say down in Tacoma. Maybe I'll look on Monday morning, at 7 a.m. How long is it taking to get there at 7 a.m.? Because if I wait till 7:30, it's probably exponentially longer than at 7. Or maybe it's reverse. But those are things that we need to do to avoid that mistake of going to the wrong court or not showing up to court in time or at all. So we can all guess if we don't show up in court at all, or once court's over, what's going to happen? We're going to get a warrant. We're going to get a warrant for arrest. We're going to have to post bail. It's a big problem. But what if we show up late, right? We go to the wrong court, we show up late. What's the big deal? Well, one, you're going to upset the court, doesn't show respect. You're going to upset your attorney. Maybe your attorney has to go to another court date. You messed up their whole day, and maybe the prosecutor notices that too. You don't seem so responsible, and now you get sort of a mark against you in the prosecutor's file that this person isn't very reliable. So that's stuff we need to do before court to try to figure out to avoid a mistake. Number two, think about what you're going to wear to court. Don't just wake up in the morning and just grab whatever is there. We don't want to look like a criminal when we're in court. Now, I say no one looks like a criminal because anybody can be charged with a crime, but that's not how the court thinks. That's not how the prosecutor thinks. We're worried about impressions, right? What do we want to avoid? Well, we want to avoid, cut off T-shirts, right? The big muscle shirts and stuff like that. Well, you want to avoid, so many tattoos showing, or so many tattoos showing that, things that look scary. Now, all types of people in my office have tattoos. I don't think much of it, but that's not necessarily how that 80-year-old judge thinks, right? Or that prosecutor who is really prudish and that doesn't, thinks a certain thing if someone has a lot of ink. So if you have an ability to cover up some ink, that would be better. If you have facial tattoos, we want to avoid that, okay? We also want to avoid being so overdressed that we feel uncomfortable, right? It's about the impression we put off. If you never wear a suit, right, probably don't wear your suit. If you're in the military, talk to your attorney about whether or not they want you to wear your uniform or not, and there's different, rules for that among each branch of the military. But, sometimes that could offend some judges because they don't want you wearing that in court, and sometimes it could help, right? And your attorney might have an idea of which will be better, because we want to be intentional, right? For years and years and years, the tie that I use, I think about, including this morning. I had a certain type of hearing that I needed to go to. I sat there and went through my whole tie rack until I found one that created the impression that I wanted to create dressed in what tie I wore today in court. And by the way, we won. So that's another type of thing that you can try to fix ahead of time. What's another thing to fix ahead of time? Think about what it is your attorney asks you to bring to court. Now, nowadays, maybe you don't have to bring so much, but maybe they need that victims panel that you got done the night before, or the anger management, or maybe they need some type of proof of something that you did. So think about that beforehand. Where is it going to be? Are you going to take it with you? Do you have extra copies, right? Do you know how many copies you need? Is there a way to get it to your attorney ahead of time? I remember 15 years ago, and was it my proudest moment, but I had a client who violated a couple of these. Number one, he was late. Number two, he didn't bring the critical piece of treatment proof that I needed to keep him out of jail. And I remember when he walked in the courtroom, the courthouse, as I'm waiting for him, tapping, looking at my watch. I didn't have 9 attorneys in helping me. I had to be everywhere myself, right? He walked in, and I read that guy the riot act. It's like, the dog ate your homework. I said something worse than that, but I'm not going to put it on YouTube. And, that was not a good thing, because he should have had that ready. He should have been on time, but he wasn't. And it did hurt my ability to help him. Now, I still got him out of the mess, but let me tell you, when you're on a review hearing and someone is in trouble for allegedly violating probation, you say, look, nothing to see here. Where's your client, Mr. Fryrear? Where's the proof, Mr. Fryrear? And that is something that could have been cured if this video existed way back then, because perhaps they would have thought ahead about when they needed to leave and what they needed to bring. Now, I think the fourth thing I want to cover about how you can prepare ahead of time to avoid mistakes in court is think about what it is you're going to say or not say. Think about it ahead of time. Just don't wait till you get there. If you have some type of resolution of the case, your attorney may have let you know, hey, I'm going to expect you to talk or not talk. Think about that ahead of time. You can practice ahead of time. You can write it down if you need to, though we always prefer you don't read it. And part of that is also think if you want to bring someone with you. Right? You need someone for support you want to bring with you, a family member. And it's harder for courts to take negative action against people when their parents are also in the courtroom, no matter how old you are. You're going to be 50 years old and you got your parent there. It's going to be a disagreed recommendation. It's harder for the court to lay down the hammer in front of somebody's parent, because they don't want to see doing that to their kid, right? It's just a psychological truth. So again, think ahead of time. Now, this isn't, if you do these things correct, by avoiding these mistakes before court, you're going to be more likely to avoid mistakes in court. And we've covered those in other videos, but these are all real important. They're basic, but the basic things are the things that we can control. Us attorneys will handle the fancy things, right? Stuff that's unexpected to come in court. If you can get these things right, you're going to have a much better chance to avoid mistakes and have a better outcome in court, which is what you want and deserve. So I hope you found that useful. If so, please like it, please subscribe. More people get to see it. More people get the help they need. More importantly, if you had a criminal matter in Washington State, feel free to reach out to our firm. If we get on board, we'll listen to what happened. We'll identify a way forward. We will be there for you. Thank you.